Story of my life, starring this guy once again. Let me get some good lighting.
No, go there. Where are you going?
Um,
Your foot. Your foot.
like I said, it's a little bit chaotic in here, but you know, is what it is. So anyway, um, I wanted to tell you the part two of my life, of the story of my life, and the reason why I'll get into that later. So anyway, I believe we left off on when I met my wife. Well, I met my wife about the same time that a girl that I fell in love with, that I was gonna spend the rest of my life with. Well, she had dumped me and thrown me out, for other reasons I don't want to discuss on here. So it just didn't work out. Let's just put it that way. So, anyway, um, my wife was sitting there in a lazy boy chair, just like this one, eating grapes, watching TV. And like I said, she and I, passed by one another. Who's that? Who's that? She and I both were kind of, passing interest. And so, anyway, eventually, time had gone on and we got to know each other. And next thing you know, one thing led to another. I wound up moving in. We wound up getting married. Everything was good. And in 2000, we had a kid. And everything was great.
Great.
Then the most unthinkable thing happened. I had a nervous breakdown and I had to leave her and I went to my parents' house. This happened off and on for about a couple of years. And then, I'd come back, I'd leave, I'd come back, I'd leave, I'd come back, I'd leave. And I also uh, tried different relationships and I tried being with different people and it always wound up being the same thing. It always blew up in my face. It always just didn't work. None of the relationships that I was ever into ever worked out. Finally, it got to the point to where I was on my last nerve. And I felt like I was in a corner that I couldn't get out of. So I I snapped and I said fuck it. So I was with a girlfriend of mine at the time. And I snapped and I said fuck it. I can't take this anymore. So I started grabbing a bunch of pills and taking them. and because I wanted to die, I wanted to OD. And in fact, the very first time I did that, I took a bunch of pills, every single pill I can find in the pantry. I took it. It didn't matter what it was, I just took it. And then I went out. She was out smoking a cigarette at the time. I went out and I told her, I says, guess what I did? And she's like, what? And I said, look in the cabinet. And I'm sitting there laughing at her. And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to call 911. And so she calls 911 and then she tries to talk to me, and I'm in and out of consciousness. Um, I think I almost died during that because it was weird. I was laying there on the bed staring at the ceiling, and I could see a tunnel and me going through it. Then at that time was when she had gotten me out of consciousness, out of unconsciousness, and got me coherent somewhat. And then next thing you know, I see the ambulatory services coming and getting me, and then they're nailing me down to the ground and shoving an IV in my veins. Then they gave me a canister and said, "You need to drink this." I'm like, "What is it?" It doesn't matter. You have to drink it. So I started drinking. I said, "Dude, this tastes like shit." And they're like, "No, you've got to drink this." I'm like, "No, I don't want to." "You've got to drink this." "No, I don't want to." And they were like, "Look, you either drink this or we take you to the truck right now and stick a garden hose down your throat. Your choice." So I drank it all and I started uncontrollably puking. I mean, I started throwing up all over the place. And it was just this black, tarish looking shit, just all over the place. I mean, I had it all over my shirt, I had it all over the floor, I had it everywhere. And I kept throwing up, throwing up, throwing up, throwing up, throwing up, throwing up, throwing up. And and then they said that I when I was passed out like this, that I was throwing up in my sleep, and they had to turn my head to make sure that I didn't you know drown in my own throw up. So I went to the hospital, and they were checking on me and all this crap, and I went through all this, and went through the psych ward once and all that, and did all that, and next thing you know, I was released. And I thought everything was going to be fine. Until it happened again. Um, See, eventually I broke up with her and I went back with my wife. And during that time, when I went back with my wife, it happened again, only this time I took a bunch of pills right in front of my wife. I actually took a whole bottle of aspirin and I went to the bathroom and I took all of them. And she didn't believe what I was doing until I started, you know, going to the bathroom, throwing up, going to the bathroom, throwing up, going to the bathroom, throwing up. And she says, "You did do it, didn't you?" And at that time, I was the one that called 911 on myself. And naturally, I went through the process again for the second time and went through the motions again and did all that. And did all of this shit. And I'll never forget the last time I was in the hospital. There was a nurse. She had short, blonde hair, a blue like nurse suit, and she had an English accent. I'll never forget what she said. She was, checking my bags. I can hear her rustling around with the bags. And she grabbed my hand. She took me by the hand, looked me straight in the eye and said, "I want you to promise me that you'll never be here again. I don't ever want to see you in here again. Promise me." And I said, "Okay." And then I passed out. I can't remember too much what happened after that, because I wasn't fully right in the head. But I eventually got out of all of that, and I think at the time I moved back in with my parents again. And I had thought that everything was going to be fine. I thought that everything was going to be cool. But I come to find out it wasn't. I started having suicidal thoughts again, and I actually took some Skittles that were doused in ammonia, and I ate them like that. Luckily, it didn't do anything to me. Just left a bad taste in my mouth, but it didn't do nothing. And that was the end of that one. Eventually, time came and went, and it got to the point to where it was getting around Christmas time, and my sister was being, not the online sister that I know, another one. She was being a major fucking brat, running off with the mouth. She would always do that. Finally, I got tired of it. And I snapped. And I'm saying, "Look, you may be able to mouth off with other people, but don't mouth off with me." And I just started going off on her. And she was like, I can't believe you would actually talk to me that way, and blah, 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 blah. And there was just a big, huge, I'm trying to turn my light on here. Fuck it. There was just a big, huge fracas, a big, huge argument, and carried on all the way till we got home. And finally, I snapped again, but I snapped in a different way. I said, dude, I got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. I've just got to go. I've got to go. I've got to get away from all this. I've got to get away from this shit because it's driving me crazy. I'm not right in the head. I got to get out of here. So it was pouring rain outside. And I just grabbed my bike and just left. Just left. And I was riding my bike around. I didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go, and all this crap. And it was a mess. And in the midst of all that, I looked at a bridge and I was thinking about jumping off of it because I just didn't want to deal with the pain of living anymore, and I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with it at all. And so I'm in a panicky, oh my God, I'm in a panicky state of mind. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. That's all I kept repeating in my head. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then that's when I thought of an ex-girlfriend that I used to date. And then I figured, well, let me contact her. Maybe she could, you know, talk some sense into me or do something is going to be done. Something has to be done. So I call her up. No answer. And I'm like, fuck, what the fuck do I do now? What the fuck do I do? And just million bazillion things going through my mind. And so I dialed my sorry folks, this is just really hard for me to talk about. But I dialed my she was my ex-wife. She wasn't my wife, she was my ex-wife at the time because we were separated. And I dialed her number, and my stepson answered the phone, and I just came unloaded. I started pouring everything out. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses for just a minute. He said, and I quote, before you do something you're going to regret, let me talk with my mom and she will call you back. I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, dude, I can't wait no longer. So I dialed back over there. Then my wife surprisingly answers. She surprisingly answers, and once again I told her the situation, and I started becoming more and more unhinged and more just erratic with my behavior. And I asked her, I says, what do you want me to do? What do I need to do? And she said, you know what? She said it without skipping a beat. She said, just come home. I'm like, what? She said, just come home. You know, your daughter needs you. I need you, because she was young at the time. You know, just come home. Then I kind of thought and weighed out my options, and I'm like, well, I'm not really doing anything good right here, so I figured, okay, fine. So she met me in the Taco Bell parking lot, and we got something to eat, and after that, I wound up putting my bike in the back of her trunk, and dropping it off at the apartments where she lives, and then heading over to my dad's house, my parents' house. And my dad was there at the time, and I simply told my dad, I'm like, look, Dad, I can't live here anymore. Too much is going on, and I can't take this kind of crap anymore. And he was busy in his map room, you know, mapping out places that we were going to go and all that. And he was like, he says, you know what, look. And he looked me straight in the eye, and he was like, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. You're a grown-ass man. But I am going to say this. When you leave here, you're not coming back. Okay? That's what he told me. He said, when you leave here today, you will not be coming back. And I said, okay, fine. So I come back, and you know what my wife told me? This is kind of difficult for me to talk about, so I apologize. But my wife had told me that she prayed to the Virgin Mary to bring me back home with her again, to bring her husband back. And that kind of got me in the old ticker, because I've never known a woman to care for me so deeply like she did. And she still does to this day. But eventually, you know, time came and went, and I've been with her ever since. And then eventually, you know, one of my uncles had passed away. Um, he used to drink like a lot of alcohol, like scotch, whiskey, beer, all that. He was a really, really heavy alcoholic. In fact, he was he was so bad that that he blew out his stomach at least 2 and 3 times, and plus, it made him so skinny that my aunt had to get had to get clothes from him for him in the kids section because they just regular clothes, men's clothes wouldn't fit him. And so all that went on. Then the next thing you know, my other uncle passed away due to colon cancer. Then my grandma and grandpa passed away due to just old age. They were in their 90s. Um, both my uncles were in their 80s when they passed. Then I lost my dad. I lost 5 family members within the course of one fucking year. Damn. And then after all of that happened later on, my dog had passed away too. So, yeah. Um, but like I said, time, has a funny way of happening. Luckily, my daughter currently is doing good, supposedly. I mean, I guess. She hasn't communicated with me in a while, so I don't know what's going on with her. But she did get married, and she did have a beautiful, smart daughter as a result of it. And she's doing really well for herself. She really is. She and her husband and her kid, they're all doing well. I just unfortunately lost communication with them, and I don't know what's going on with them. I don't. So, um, like I said, this is just a brief story of my life. I didn't explain everything in detail, but I explained some of it, in like parts and highlights and all that kind of stuff. So, but I can't really explain every single little thing because to me it's not relevant, and I just don't feel like getting into details about it. I just tell you the highlights of it and a little details, and that's about it. So now you guys know who I am. Now you guys know what I'm about, and you can be your own judge as to determine on what kind of character, what kind of person I am. I'm actually a really good guy once you get to know me. But I don't put up with people's crap, you know. If someone's going to give me crap, I give them crap back. You know, it's usually the case. But I'm trying to change my ways. There are some people out there that still keep talking about me in a negative way, but I'm going to teach myself to slowly just not give them any attention, and eventually they'll just, you know, disappear like a fart in the wind. So there's going to be a lot more private videos like this one, private streams like this one. I'm still debating on whether or not I should keep doing the cheap entertainment and verbal abuse bit, or whether I should just crap can it and go on to something else. There's going to be a lot of cooking streams with me, a lot of reviewing things on this channel with me, and all that. So I'm going to try and make this channel just a little bit of everything. So, and the reason why I took off my current content is because I just want to start off fresh without talking garbage on people or addressing people that just don't deserve any relevancy or anything at all. You know, just let them go, let them be, let them just fart right off, you know. So, but anyway, this is me, Mr. Arizona. What you see is what you get. Whether you like me or not, I am how I am. I do what I do. And that's about it. I'm going to continue to document my life for you, and to just talk about things that are going on in it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do, give it a like, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. And as usual, thank you for watching, and thank you for listening to today's broadcast. Take care. Bye-bye.